On today's video, we're going to pay tribute to a D&D dad you may never have heard of. And stay tuned to the end of the video to find out how he and his son may play a role in the upcoming Icewind Dale adventure. D&D dads on this Father's Day on Polyhedral Paradise. What is up, everybody? My name is Jason. I'm your host here at Polyhedral Paradise. If you're new to the channel, like, subscribe, share, hit the thumbs up button, hit the ring the bell thing to subscribe, leave a comment, get it out to your friends, whatever you want to do. If you want to hit the thumbs down, do that too. I appreciate the feedback. If you have any comments or concerns, please leave them in the section that is appropriate below. And we are going to get talking about a man, a drow, a legend, Zaknafine Duerden. So one of the most popular characters in all of D&D lore is Drizzt Do'Urden. We've all heard his name. He is basically the face of the Forgotten Realms. But unless you read the books, you don't really know about where he came from. Sure, you know what he's done, but you don't know how he got there. And today we're going to enlighten you about how his father played a big role in his development, both martially with the weapons and psychologically. And we're going to learn a lot about this man. And I thought, seeing as how it's Father's Day, by the way, happy Father's Day to everybody, it was only appropriate that we highlight this man who had such an impact on one of D&D's favorite characters. Zaknafine Duerden started out as the weapon master of House Duerden. He was the one that initially gave Drizzt the courage to leave Menzoberranzan. He played a great part in shaping his personality. And early on, he tried to shield his son from the truth about where he grew up, about Menzoberranzan, as long as he could. Now, see, one of the things you have to understand about the Drow, if we're going to continue this conversation, is that they are a matriarchal society. The males in Drow society are lower than dirt. They are disposable. They are the stuff that you scrape off your boot. It is a wicked place for a male to grow up. So let's get in a little bit of the early life of Zaknafine Duerden. He was born a commoner in Menzoberranzan. At the time, his skills attracted the attentions of Malus Duerden, and he quickly became the patron of House Duerden, which allowed him to take the surname. In order to break his spirit, though, and to make him behave more like a true drow, Malus and her daughter Breeza conspired to have him murder a goblin disguised as a drow. However, the untimely death of Malus's mother led to them abandoning the attempt. During his time as patron, Zach, we'll call him that for this conversation, sired one child with Malus, Virna. Zaknafine sincerely hoped his daughter would share his values and personality, and he clashed frequently with their mother over Virna's future. Although he was forced to watch his daughter become corrupted by the evil tenets of Lolth, Spider Queen, trust me, if you guys know anything about the Underdark, Lolth is not something that you want to mess with. Sometime after Virna's birth, Zaknafine was replaced by Risen Duerden as patron and served House Duerden only as the weapon master, although he continued to be Malus's occasional lover. In time, our famous father would become known as the finest weapon master in Menzoberranzan. But most importantly, he was good beyond the ability of his kin. Noble, kind-hearted, and strong in his own way, he did his best to live by his own principles. In a world where greed overcomes compassion and ambition overrules all, this drow who would be good continued to hold true to what he thought was the correct way to act, even though everyone around him was evil beyond words. Malus, his cohort, the matron of House Duerden, had longed to kill him several times over the centuries, but did not, both because of her own desire for him and because Zaknafine had proven himself to be tremendously capable of a fighter. And this fighter, Zaknafine, delighted in killing drow, particularly priestesses, which came in handy as House Duerden continued to climb the ranks of Menzoberranzan by eliminating houses further up. He also trained countless Duerden warriors, including Virna, Maya, and Dinin. Not long before he reached his 4th century, Zaknafine took part in House Duerden's assault on House Devere. He took his customary role of assassinating the 5th House's priestesses. He was shocked at the power of Malus's assault. Powered by the birth of Drizzt, During the raid, Zack relished the opportunity to kill priestesses, but he took a moment to mourn the death of Devere children, wondering if Drow children were actually born evil. And that's a question that I think is relevant. Are Drow inherently evil? No, I don't think so. Based by the amount of player characters who have become Drow, I think that Drow are evil because of the society that they are born into, and because of the oppressive forces of Loth and the matriarchy that they're born into. So I, in fact, if I may opine for a second, don't believe that the Drow are inherently evil. And I don't believe that Zaknafine nor Drizzt believe so as well. Now, it would be 10 years after Dritzt's birth before Zaknafine would actually come to know the Drow. Meeting him for the first time at the age of 10, Zack was unable to contain a smile when the young Drow unknowingly spoke out of turn, embarrassing his older sister, Vierna. Mouse revealed to her her intention for Drizzt was to study at sorcery and replace Nephilim as house wizard. Zaknafine had little respect for wizards and was able to convince her to allow Drizzt to become a fighter instead. Malice snidely remarked that she should have expected nothing less given the boy's heritage, but Drizzt missed her point. So you can see that Zaknafine was a rebellious Drow by nature, and he delighted in the fact that although his daughter did not pick up on his rebellious attitude, that Drizzt, even at the age of 10, was already starting to show signs of it. And Zaknafine immediately found Drizzt to be a kindred spirit, and the young Drow possessed an innocence and idealism that Zack felt compelled to protect and preserve. The pair would spar frequently as Drizzt grew in age and ability, and he learned a great deal from Zaknafine. And Zaknafine trained Drizzt using two finely crafted Drow longswords. So when Drizzt grew to be about the age of 20, Mouse ordered the young Drow to be sent to the academy for further instruction. Knowing that the academy would have ruined Dritzt's strong morals and shattered his innocence, Zaknafine pleaded with Mouse to allow Drizzt to remain at the house, promising to make him the finest weapon master of all of Menzo Berenzan. Mouse did not doubt his word, but sent Drizzt anyway, mostly because she enjoyed seeing Zaknafine in pain. And in this instance, you can really see the disdain that Malice had for Zaknafine. Zaknafine, though, was unwilling to allow Drizzt to become corrupted and become a soulless killer like the rest of the Drow. So Zaknafine actually attempted to kill his son during a sparring match shortly before Drizzt was due to leave. Ultimately, Zaknafine was unable to bring himself to murder his son, although the pair had a falling out and ended on bad terms. And I tell you, I don't know if anybody's read the books, but when I read that, just the thought of a father so unwilling to see his son corrupted that he would rather end his life was powerful to me. It was extremely powerful. And the fact that he couldn't do it, that was, further proof of Zaknafine's honor. And, he wanted to do it. He wanted to kill him. He didn't want to see him turn to the dark side, if you will, but was unable to do so. And that was a Father's Day message that touched my heart. Don't murder your kids. They may end up all right after all. So moving forward in our story, Zaknafine was filled with pride when Drizzt returned from the academy, having graduated at the top of his class for the 9 or 10 years he spent there. So this puts Drizzt close to 29, 30 years old. At the same time, he was afraid to interact with his son, fearing that Drizzt had become just another evil Drow fighter. As Drizzt had continued to gain reputation as one of the most powerful warriors in Menzo Berenzan, Zack continued to have mixed feelings about his son's success. When Zack heard that Drizzt had apparently killed a surface elf, Zack was filled with rage. When he next met his son, Zack attacked him, but relented once Drizzt insisted that he had actually spared the child and admitted that he was, in fact, Dritzt's father. So up to this point in the story, one thing that we haven't mentioned is that Zaknafine, though he trained Drizzt and spent all this time with Drizzt, never had admitted that he was in fact his father. So this little bit of information that Drizzt found out changed him, and it was, he spent all these years looking at Zaknafine as a mentor, yes, and as someone who would teach him swordsmanship and teach him these good deeds, but he never knew that he was his father until that moment that he confronted him after he came out of the academy. So here's where we come to the end of Zaknafine's story, at least for the purposes of our conversation. It was after this encounter that Zaknafine and Dritz were approached by priestesses of Lolth. Apparently, during this confrontation, they had been scrying on them and they knew exactly what had taken place, and they were to execute Dritz once they found out that he in fact spared the elf. So what had happened was Zaknafine offered his life up for Dritz, and he was killed. So in doing so, though, it was the push that Dritz needed to leave Menzoberranzan and leave the Underdark and become the ranger that we all know and love from the Forgotten Realms books. So it was in fact Zaknafine's love for Dritz that pushed him out and let him become the drow that was broken free of the bonds of his heritage. And for that today, that's why we really need to celebrate the life of Zaknafine Duerden. It was his sacrifice and his love for his son and his ability to go against his culture and against the evilness of the drow that led to his son becoming the face of the Forgotten Realms. And for that, I think we owe Zaknafine a round of applause. Everybody, thanks for hanging out with me this evening, talking about one of the finest fathers in all the Forgotten Realms, Zaknafine Duerden, father of our very favorite drow, Dritz Duerden. If you like the content, please be sure to hit the thumbs up and give it a like and a subscribe. If you have anything to say about this, if there's any other fathers you think are deserving of a profile, put it in the comments section down below. As always, look out for our dice box giveaway at 100 subs. I hope we get there soon. I think things have been going pretty well. And as I always like to say, in the game of life, may you always roll with advantage. And I'll catch you guys next time.